How's it going, boys and girls? We're back with more Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishment. We're on to case number 5, which I think was Kew Gardens. I've been fiddling with my microphone a little bit. It might be still shit, frankly. I've ordered a new one, which should arrive tomorrow. But we'll see. We'll see. In the meantime, let's continue the case. Let us continue the case. Right. Telescope. Is it the fat lady? It is. Hello, I shouldn't call her fat. The big boned lady. I'm not fat, I'm big bone.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours.
Oh, Watson. Leave my bees alone. Leave my bees alone. Mr. Holmes, I am writing to inform you that the affair at the Abbey Grange, which took place almost half a year ago now, still resonates deeply in high society and remains a subject of much gossip. This case's romantic background has attracted many suitors who show willing to shelter and take pity on Lady Brackenstall, but to this date she still serves her sentence with her maid Teresa and has rejected all offers of help. To be truthful, I suspect that the true motivations of these suitors may well be related to Sir Eustace's title and money. What do you think, Mr. Holmes? I think so too, Lestrade. I think so too. What did I need to do? Find the stolen plants. Ah, yes. Let's go find some plants.
Well, Holmes, here we are at the Royal Botanic Gardens. There's no doubt that this place is beautiful. But are you really intent on investigating the theft of the plants?
Yes, of course.
It's so stilted. Yes, of course.
What are we doing, Holmes?
Let us find someone who could help us.
Okay.
Don't touch anything else, is that clear? Just go and get a bucket of fertilizer. And without turning it over this time. Good day to you, gentlemen. How may I help you? If you are here for a visit, please do come back on Sunday.
I am afraid that it cannot wait. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson. We are investigating the theft of plants that took place here 5 days ago. A remarkable collection, I believe.
So you're the one in charge, eh?
A small favor for a friend. Now, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
I am Martin Hamish. I am the Deputy Director of Kew Gardens. And that fellow yonder is Albert. He works here.
I am delighted to meet you. What can you tell us about the plants?
They were rare and exceptional plants. We presented them at our last exhibition. We haven't removed the stand yet. It is still in the large glass house. We only learned of their disappearance the evening after the exhibition, and nobody saw anything.
No doors were forced?
No, but I would imagine that for a thief it would be fairly easy to gain entry, for there are no guards here.
Well, if you don't mind, we will take a look. Now, you say that it is in the large glass house.
Yes, the one just behind me. Just a second, since Albert has nothing else to do. Albert, show these gentlemen where the exhibition was held.
How many people work here?
Only myself, but occasionally 2 students, Albert, whom you have met, and Miss White.
Here it is. This is the place where the stolen plants were exhibited.
Thank you. Is there something the matter?
Yes, there is. All right, the plants were valuable and rare, but it seems to me that the tragedy that took place here only 2 days ago has been entirely forgotten already.
What tragedy are you referring to?
The director of Kew Gardens, Mr. Montague Dunn, he died here just 2 days ago.
We're very sorry. We were not aware. The two of you were good friends?
He was my father.
Oh dear. Our condolences. We should not be troubling you. Please do excuse us for the intrusion.
You say that he died here, in the large glass house.
Holmes?
Yes, just here, near the door to the colonial collection. He suffered a heart attack. Just like that. So suddenly. It was terrible. Excuse me, gentlemen, but I cannot remain here. If you need me, I'll be in the reserve. That's the room next to the front of the large greenhouse.
Of course, we understand.
So there has been a death. Maybe it's not just plants after all.
The
Ha ha
plants were
ha.
here. All of them were stolen.
What should we do next, Holmes? Do not touch.
Here is a list of the stolen plants.
There's been a murder. So these are all good plants. And by good I mean not stolen, I guess.
According to Albert, this is where his father, Montague Dunn, was found dead. This sign is broken. Something heavy was dropped upon it.
I will use my detective sight. Large black
These boot
tracks.
marks are fresh. It appears as though someone was dragging their feet. The traces are thinner in some places. The footprints reveal that someone staggered here.
Staggered, eh?
The door was smashed at shoulder height. This door handle is new. It was recently changed. The esconsson was breached near the handle. The door was forced from the inside of the Colonial Collection room. The handle was changed afterwards.
I think we need to inspect the Colonial Collection.
I think you might be right, Watson.
Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. Soil. It should have come from a flower pot. The soil on the side of this flower shelf is the same as that on the ground.
Okay, that's good to know.
This pot was broken fairly recently. A flower pot recently fell down from these shelves and was misplaced.
Ahem.
These trees, with their roots in water, must originate from Louisiana.
Ah, yes, the bayou. I remember our visit in the case of the Awakened.
The Awakened. That's not me. I'm the Asleepened. Yuck, yuck.
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
Okay. Might be helpful.
Water lily greenhouse. According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
Light and moisture control in some parts of the building. Holmes, that way. Jesus. Why aren't you walking?
Dry tropics.
Hello, dry tropics. This is beautiful. I like it a lot.
These flower pots are beautiful.
That's what
They
I
are
said.
intended to be used for exhibition purposes.
A shoobity boobity boo bop
The
wop.
symbol is not from Kew Gardens.
Beautiful, not Kew Gardens pots, you say? Some cacti. Some documents I cannot read just yet, but no doubt I'll be able to later.
Dry tropics.
Excuse me, Watson, but as you know, we must investigate every which where.
There is a smell of burning.
I wonder where it could be coming from.
The symbol is not from Kew Gardens. A protective mask. Someone set it alight, but it did not burn. The remains of a picture frame.
Okay, I'm calling it. They used the temperature control gauge to put poisonous plant spores into the humidity control or temperature control. Whilst the director was in there, they had a gas mask on so that they wouldn't be affected. He obviously died. And they locked the door so that he couldn't get out, obviously, and then he died.
A broom handle was half burned. A door handle? Why would anyone throw such a thing in the fire? The door handle to the colonial collection and that of the fireplace are made of the same material. The plants were set alight fairly recently. Some have not completely burned.
Interesting. Is that Nope. Let's do a quick scout out of the area. Help me, Holmes, I'm stuck. No, Holmes, Watson. Help me, I'm stuck. I cannot climb over this tiny little fence. All I can think about right now is helping whatever dog is whining in the distance.
Nursery. Seed house. Ventilation system.
I am here.
Dry tropics. Water lily greenhouse. Colonial collection. Palm house. Director's office, cloakroom and laboratory. Director's office. A map of Kew Gardens.
Is that everything? Done, 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 done. I guess so. But why are you saying that it's not done? What have I missed? Reveal your secrets to me. Please do. Oh, please. I shall be ever so grateful. Alright, keep your secrets. Right, let's have a gander around here. Lots of pots and pans.
A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings. A ventilation...
It is an object of interest.
A water tank.
Okay. Noted for later, Watson.
Seed house.
Seed house. Right, we do need to go in the seed house, but we also need to come down here. Just to make 100% sure. What's this?
Nursery. Seed house. Ventilation system. Dry tropics. Water lily greenhouse. Colonial collection. Director's office, cloakroom and laboratory. Palm house. A map of Kew Gardens.
Okay. And if we go this way, we'll go in the seed house, I
Locked.
guess. What do you mean locked?
Locked. Seed house.
Wait. Let's try the other door. Nobody, and I mean nobody, locked Sherlock Holmes
Locked.
out. Ah. Apparently the director of Kew Gardens does. That's okay. We'll find a way in later.
Locked.
And the nursery's locked too. I'm just gonna
Nursery.
faceplant myself against the door and remain there forevermore. Excuse me, Watson. Okay. This leads to a
Nursery.
nursery. Let me in the nursery, bugger. I ever so much wanted to be able to go in there.
Locked.
They're very peculiar about who they let into these buildings, aren't they?
Locked.
Incredibly so. Right.
Then. Wa- ha- dir-
I'm just curious, if we read every sign, do they eventually go green? Maybe the only reason it's not green is because we've not read all of them. Hello, Mr. Hamish.
Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kew Gardens.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
Would you unlock the doors for us?
Do you expect to find the stolen plants there? I am sorry, but those rooms are private.
You're suspicious, sir. Why would you not let us in? You've got inexpensive glasses. And he's short-sighted. With a dirty collar. And frankly, very dirty clothes, but he's a gardener, that's fine. Unmarried. Wait, wasn't he the director?
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Yes, thank you indeed, Mr. Hamish. Martin Hamish is unmarried. His hands and nails resemble those of a gardener. They are dirty and swollen. He is short-sighted, wearing bifocals to correct his vision. He is very plain. He works hard, to the point of neglecting his appearance, and it is sadly unlikely that he has any female companion. He lives alone. Okay then. Well, sorry to hear that you're so lonely, Mr. Hamish. Maybe get a dog. They are incredible company. Boop.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
I don't know. Am I allowed to be in here?
Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only, for I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then. That is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
I bet that cut on his chin is one of the points. He is consumed by grief. Yeah. Cut himself shaving. And he's clean-handed.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Albert Dunn. Albert Dunn is a nervous and anxious young man, clearly evident by his bitten fingernails. He uses a quantity of detergent with which to clean his hands, which is a poor decision seeing as he handles plants and soil. His eyes are red. He has been weeping very recently. His age tells us that he is still at university. He's good-looking, unmarried, and probably still lives with his mother. His mother. And there's two more people we need to meet as well, apparently.
Palm House.
Palm House.
A task list for Albert, compiled by Martin Hamish. Sweep out the Palm House, scrub the toilets, clean the storage shed tools.
Yeah, but what else did it say? Note, you are only allowed to read the newspaper during your lunch break. Ah. A tyrant of a boss. Where on earth are we? What do these signs say? Dipsis ambositrae. Phoenix canariensis. I bet at some point we're going to have to find a specific plant or tree. Ugh.
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some part.
Yes, they do indeed. Yes, they do indeed.
According to
Yeah.
water lily.
Waterlily Greenhouse. Okay, right, we've come full circle. Let's go into the place where they asked us to go into originally.
According to this,
Yes, they do.
these plants come from all the territories of the British Empire.
On which the sun never sets.
Very strange. Half of the colonial collection is absent.
That is very strange.
The smell is strong. It is a detergent. This broken fragment was the result of a heavy blow. A fragment of marble, most likely chipped from a statue or sculpture.
Oh yes?
This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system.
Okay. It's good to know.
These windows were perfectly cleaned. Part of this greenhouse was emptied and thoroughly cleaned.
Why? Why indeed? What do you think, Watson?
What should we do next, Holmes?
Oh, I don't know. Do I have any clues? Nope. Go and talk to people, I guess. Oh no, what happened? Hello? Hello? Oh, I think the game crashed on me. Why would it do this? It most certainly did. Failed to start the game, application already running. Well, yeah, but it's not though, is it? It has unfortunately crashed. And that being the case, oh, it's also frozen everything on that screen. Sorry, chaps. Let me go and sort this out. I'll be back in just 1 second. Okay, should be back. Let's see. Let's see where it's saved as well. Son of a bitch. Son of a biscuit. Son of a bamboozler. Aha. Find the stolen plants. Examine the place where Montague Dunn met his death. So I think I've done all of that. I've done that. Okay, good.
What should we do next, Holmes?
We should go and talk to some gentleman. I'm lost. I'm lost.
Excuse me, but I have to tidy up this room.
Okay. And you?
Just be careful with the plants during your inspection.
Examine the place where Montague Dunn met his death. But that was in here, wasn't it? That must have missed something. So around here? To the glory of the colonial empire. Ah,
Blood. Someone fell violently against this sign, and they were injured in the clash. Most likely a head wound. All the clues around here are quite suspicious. I need my imagination to make sense of it all.
I need my imagination. Determine the correct sequence of events based on the evidence you've gathered. Okay, so he probably breaks the door, knocks over the pot, falls on the fence, and then
This reconstruction reveals a disturbing fact. Montague Dunn damaged the door of the Colonial Collection Room.
He was in a panic, or the door was locked? Was it an accident, or a murder then, I wonder?
I would argue at murder. I'm going to go with my original suspicion. Someone locked him in that room, then sprayed poisonous gas in there, and then they had a gas mask, so they were okay. Perform an autopsy of Montague Dunn. The death is suspicious. Why had he forced the door of the Colonial Collection Room? Why had someone cleaned and emptied the room? Was it a trap or a simple accident? Yes, indeed. I'm assuming the body's at Scotland Yard. Mr. Holmes.
I asked Inspector Lestrade to take Montague Dunn's body to Scotland Yard.
It's ready for autopsy then.
Here I come to save the day.
A beautiful feather pen of a good make. This watch is of great value.
Why is this? That's not a feather pen. Unless... I always assumed feather pens were quills.
a membership card for the London Crest Club.
To Mr. F. Wayne, Director of Wayne & Sons Printing Company. My friend, your posters for the great exhibition at Kew Gardens are very beautiful, but it is surely unnecessary to mention all of the staff. My name alone will be sufficient. Montague Dunn. Your posters for the great exhibition at Kew Gardens are very beautiful, but it is surely unnecessary to mention all of the staff. My name alone will be sufficient. Oh wow, he's a bit of an asshole there. Maybe not worthy of being murdered.
Locked.
Locked. Hello, Mr. Dunn.
First of all, let us carry out an external examination. There are no suspicious marks upon the chest. Let us finish our external examination, so that we can proceed with the autopsy. No redness, stings, or bruises. Nothing suspicious here. There is an injury to the skull, most probably caused by the fall in the water lily greenhouse. The vessels and the pupil of the eye appear quite normal. The air from the lungs carries a faint floral aroma. Now, let us examine the internal organs.
Thank you, Watson. This looks like a cooked breakfast. There's the egg. There's like some sausage. That's some, I don't know, bacon. These are the loaves of bread.
The lungs are congested and edematous.
They're edematous. I don't know what that means, but...
The tissue on the inferior lobe of the right lung is damaged, most probably caused by toxins from an unknown plant.
Ha, called it.
The heart's blood vessels show no pathological signs. The heart tissue shows no visible pathological signs.
But it was apparently a heart attack.
The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction.
It's not called addiction, it's called enjoyment.
The liver tissue is brown. There are no visible pathological signs. The stomach tissues show no visible pathological signs. There is a small amount of content. It appears that he breakfasted lightly, only a short while before his death. My suspicions have been substantiated. Montague Dunn, the director of Kew Gardens, died from poisoning. Plant poisoning, to be more exact.
You mean...
Yes, it is murder.
We should inform Lestrade.
Yes, but do remember, Watson, that I discovered the murder. The challenge is mine.
The challenge, Holmes?
We need to locate that deadly plant. Such a perfect murder appeals to me.
Murder of any kind appeals to you. Is that all we need to do?
No. We also have the people working at Kew Gardens. Martin Hamish and the son of the victim, Albert Dunn.
And also Miss White, of whom we spoke with Mr. Hamish. Should we bring them all here for interrogation?
No. A few innocuous questions at Kew will suffice, as well as a discreet delve into their personal affairs. Yes, Watson, it is time now to open the doors.
Even those in the staff building? I suppose that is necessary.
We should also be concerned with the victim himself. After all, we don't know very much about Montague Dunn.
You're enjoying this already, aren't you?
More than a little.
More than a little. Right, what have we got? He was trapped from poisoning. Dunn was poisoned. After being trapped in the Colonial Collection room by the killer, Montague Dunn was affected by inhaling a virulent vegetal poison. Alrighty then. That was an awfully long journey.
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the Colonial Collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
Alright, asshole.
As deputy director, how is your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression. Great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
Please do go on.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say? He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That
And
he had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
What about Miss White?
Mr. Hamish, can you tell us who holds the keys to the locked greenhouses?
That would be Albert, Mr. Dunn's son. Yes, Albert keeps all the keys, and one can only imagine why.
What do you mean?
Well, he was never interested in Kew Gardens before, and now all of a sudden he's trying to act as if he owns the place. I think he wants to take over the management here. He'd do better to leave that to me. He has no experience. No, none at all.
What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was?
Oh yes, he forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
You're sounding awfully suspicious, Mr. Hamish. Like, you're desperate for the management role, and you're saying that there was an attractive young lady who spent time with the director, but you seem quite besotted.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, Do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Yes, indeed, we shall. I wanted to go and speak to Albert, didn't I? And he is this way, I believe.
Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah, at the moment I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens. And I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the Deputy Director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the Deputy Director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? Well, that is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. That my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
Aha.
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Yes, we shall. Right, where should we start from? I guess from the nursery. See what we've got going on in here. If there is indeed anything interesting at all.
A thesis written by Martin Hamish. A glasses case. It is empty. This area serves as Martin Hamish's office. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window. We can see the interior of the This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system.
Okay.
This poster is for an exhibition that Martin Hamish was directing, but it had nothing to do with Kew Gardens. This certificate belongs to Martin Hamish. He won a horticultural competition.
Well done, Martin
These
Hamish.
young plants must be delicate if they are kept in the nursery.
We found it.
It is a bust of Montague Dunn. I am curious if the marble that we found will fit this place.
I mean,
Here it is. The marble fragment that we found in the Colonial Collection Room is what they have in common.
okay. So what does that mean? Albert's ambition. Poisoning. Is this going to do this every time I open that fucking panel? Oh, be right back, guys. One sec. Okay, let's try this again. Let us try this again. It feels like Kew Gardens, I'm not allowed to go into my analysis panel without the game crashing, so I guess we do it all right at the end and then hope that we can progress.
It is a...
It is. I am curious. It does indeed fit. We are all very, very pleased with this.
The seeds of plant species are stored here.
And there's nothing else in here? It surprises me.
Locked.
It's not locked.
Open.
Open! Hello, lady. I will be with you very shortly. I must first investigate everything around you. Okay, that leads out to there. Let's get some fresh air in here, shall we?
Materials for college study. They belong to Albert. These leather gloves are new and of good quality. They do not appear to have been used. This place serves as Albert's office. A book about ships. Nothing at all to do with plants. From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room.
So from Albert's desk we can't, but from Hernandez or Horatio or Hamish, whatever his name is, we can. Oh, there is a ventilation
This is one
thing
of the
though.
outlets of the ventilation system.
Hello, Margaret White. I shall be with you momentarily.
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir. And good day to you too. But
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Gardens. Are you working on a case?
Tell me your secrets, Margaret White. She's from a poor family. She's from a poor family, nobody loves her. Expensive perfume, though. There's apparently something else that I missed. Let's just, like, scrub her face. Is there anything obvious? Is it just me? Am I finding it impossible to find something? Hello? What's this other... I assumed it would be that. But it isn't. What is it? Maybe if I just like rapidly click everywhere. Ah!
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh, yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
And you wouldn't first think to, like, maybe consider that it's because someone died here a couple of days ago.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honor.
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic and very nice to me. Although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious.
Yes, someone is lying.
Kew Gardens.
Who do we think? Miss Margaret White is a beautiful young lady who appears moderately wealthy. Nevertheless, her hands can be seen to be marked by tiny brown dots. These were caused by pellagra, a condition that emerges after a prolonged period of malnutrition. They reveal that her childhood was a poor and unhappy one. However, the signs of wealth that we now see clearly indicate a significant change in her life. Set of keys to open all the doors, except the one to the cloakroom. I have a ton of stuff to search the archives as well. Nursery, I've been in... what else was there? There was these rooms here, wasn't there? Into the office I go. Gas masks!
There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory.
Gold dust? Good heavens. What's it doing here?
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be a valuable auxiliary for various experiments.
But why would anyone perform such experiments in a botanical garden?
Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. Several drops of the bottle is no longer here, but it is possible to detect a faint scent. We need a good nose.
We need Toby. Botanical
A
section.
botany book. This student's book belongs to Albert.
Let's say repeat year. Yeah, he flunked.
Chemicals, a sufficient quantity for some serious experiments.
A phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
Yes, this is quite a modern laboratory. I don't hear anything.
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants to respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895. Report number 245.
Study report.
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish. This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this one is kept in good order, Holmes.
Shut up, Watson. If I want your opinion, I'll ask for it. Hey, Watson, what do you think about this?
Such masks are generally worn when dealing with toxic chemicals. Gloves, waterproof aprons, everything one might need for self-protection.
Do they grow dangerous plants here?
It appears as though the protective equipment is missing from here.
Well, Jiminy Willikers. What can we say?
Locked.
Holmes, Albert Dunn didn't give us the key to this door.
It does not matter. We will open it.
I see. Okay, so it's definitely starting with that one. This one could, however, be something else, right? Let's see, what if you were that? Then you go up, 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 across there, across there, across there. Right, so that goes up there, up there, up there, across there, across there, across there. Which isn't quite right, is it? Because this one must go there. And that comes along, down there, down there, down there, and then that goes there. Aha, there it is. There we go.
Open. The employee's cloakroom.
Open.
Miss White's locker. A
Salvaganda.
draft of the letter that Miss White sent to her parents.
Dear Mother and Father, I'm writing this letter with reluctance to ask for your help. My studies and my housing costs have proven to be more expensive than I had anticipated. I fear, therefore, that I may not be able to manage in the long term. I know that we have had our disagreements in the past, but would you be so heartless as to allow your daughter to fail her studies due to lack of money? Margaret.
Apparently, Miss White is a capable student. These jewels must be worth a small fortune.
Where did she get the jewels from? Well, she was poor. Dear Margaret, I know how your financial troubles are overwhelming you at this present time. Please let me reassure you that I could not permit you to remain in such a dilemma. I was born of a wealthy family. I would consider it an honor if you might accept my help. Your devoted servant, Albert. Oh, Albert. You
A
dog.
vanity purse. It is of high quality.
Margaret, we were surprised to receive your letter. How could you think to ask us for money after all these years that have passed since you left, and without any thought of us? You have never shared with us any detail of your success at the university, but you choose to do so now. We suppose you must be ashamed of us, for we are not from the same high class as your new friends. Yes, we are modest people, but you should learn to put your family first, as we at home have always done, and none of us have ever compromised their reputation, as it appears you have already with your employer, Mr. Dunn. No, Margaret, it is you who makes us feel ashamed. Your parents. Signed your parents. Okay. Mr.
Martin
Hamish.
Hamish's locker. Martin Hamish studied chemistry. Interesting.
Mr. General Secretary. Recent events unfolding at Kew Gardens oblige me to renew my application for the management position. As I have stated already in my previous letters, I believe that no one is better suited for the post. While Mr. Montague Dunn was alive, I understood your reservation to my suggestion. Your reasons were political, and so I was happy to comply. But now the Kew Gardens lie in disorder. How can I stand by and allow it? How can I leave them in the hands of inexperienced people with no motivation? I must urge you to cast your decision as a matter of urgency, so that I may devote myself entirely to the noble task ahead, and free my mind from this uncertainty.
A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish has written several pieces. Father and I, Kew Gardens.
And Albert's.
Albert's locker. Specialist articles on shipyards and ship construction. Albert Dunn has a great passion for shipbuilding and the sea. A rejection letter from the British Royal Naval College.
Sir, it is my regret to inform you that despite your excellent results within our entry examinations, we are unable to invite you into the Royal Navy School. Your father, Mr. Montague Dunn, has expressed his intention to entrust to you the directorship of the Royal Botanical Gardens in Kew, and it is clear that he would not release you for an entire year of naval training. Please accept all our best wishes for your future at Kew Gardens. Yours very faithfully, J. M. Lemarchand, Director of the Royal Navy Training Centre. Okay. So potentially it was Albert who killed him because he wanted to go to sea. But that doesn't really make sense because he's talking about taking ownership now. But it feels very apparent that he's not actually that bothered about. He wasn't bothered about taking ownership before.
A picture of Miss White and Albert in front of the University of London.
And they seem to get along.
Huh. Right, what else have we? Find the plant that was used to kill Dr. Montague, inspect Kew Gardens staff buildings and gather information. I have. Is there another building? Ah, this one. I already examined this one. Shabba-dabba-doo-ba-wow. What? Is there like a trick to this that I don't know about? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, wait, 3, 1. If you exit this part now, your progress will not be saved. Oh, well, yeah. I'm trying to figure out if there's a hint.
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish. Newspapers discussing Kew Gardens.
The Kew Gardens team are pleased to announce the successful production of a new variety of barley, one that retains a complete resistance to the cold. They have named it the Siberian barley. Mr. Martin Hamish, the proud cultivator of the graft, will hold a press conference next Monday morning upon this very subject. My dearest Margaret, following our last conversation, I believe it might be better if you vacate your position here at Kew Gardens. As you pointed out quite bluntly, you are no longer in need of my support. You are quite able to stand up for yourself in this world, as you say. Well, I give you back your freedom and wish you nothing but good luck. Montague Dunn. Ah. Margaret was poor. Maybe got a lot of money from both Albert and... Oh, maybe she was... So she was getting money from Mr. Dunn, as per what Hamish said at the start, but then Albert started feeling sorry for her, and she decided he was younger and more attractive, so broke up with the dad to get with the son.
Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste. French wine. A remarkable vintage.
A remarkable vintage.
What should we do?
So there's no clues about getting into the safe. It's just trial and error, apparently. 2, 2, 3, 1. I need to write this down. It's 2, 2, 3, 1. Oh, okay, 2 then. 2, 2, 3, 2. That was a 2. 4, 2? Oh, for fuck's sake. 2, 2, 1, 2, 3. This 1, 2, 3. Five, 5. Okay. My dear friend, please allow me to express my disappointment upon reading your last letter. I am paying you to defend me, not to accuse me. Kew Gardens is a royal institute. We are granted the great opportunity to travel the world and to save the most extraordinarily precious and rare species of plant. Our duty is to protect such species, and from those who might wish to use them for dubious purposes. This divine syndicate of whom you speak have no right to hold such precious plants. Remember the case of June 14th, 1889. So I must respectfully ask you once again to notarize the permissions on these plants on behalf of Kew Gardens. June 14, 1889. The documents were sent to you on Monday. P.S. See you in Boodles on Tuesday as always. Montague Dunn. Mr. Dunn, we must ask you for the last time for the return of our dear sisters. You do not have any right to hold them imprisoned. They do not belong to you. Your so-called permissions are wholly false. You are hiding behind lies. The lie, we need not elaborate, that was reported in the press as the case of June 14th, 1889. What you have done is quite abhorrent. Be very sure that we shall never abandon our family members. We trusted you, and regret having done so. The Divine Syndicate.
I suggest that we don't tell Miss Margaret White about this document.
Debt of Miss Margaret White to Mr. Montague Dunn. Rental of a suite of rooms, Oxford Street. An educational scholarship at the London University. Credits opened at Hamilton, Radigan House Tailors, and a Baird & Son Luxury Jewellers. I mean, what's next? Find the plant, find out who killed, use Toby to track the scent. What's up?
Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kew Gardens?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
Photograph with father, I guess?
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work, for Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kew Gardens. Fame meant nothing to my father. So it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
There is a bust of Montague Dunn in the nursery.
A bust? Oh, that old thing. Further proof of that outrageous ego of his.
But why in that room in particular?
Oh, I don't know. It has always been there.
It is strange, because I recovered a fragment of the bust inside the Colonial Collection Room.
Really? Oh, well, so I am mistaken. It ought to have been removed during the cleanup. This room is so small.
Do you know who moved it?
I have no idea. Surely Mr. Dunn requested it. Do you have any more questions like this? Because fragments of rock are not my responsibility.
Evidently.
Evidently.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
I think you're a suspicious mofo, Hamish. I don't care who knows it.
I perceive that you are passionate about the Royal Navy.
Passionate? No, not really. I like ships, that is all.
Are you quite sure? You do not seem to be so interested in plants.
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
Bob. Hey, Mango. How you doing, buddy? Happy weekend. Happy Friday.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College
Fine,
rejected
that's
your
good.
application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, that's correct. And in fact, my father was strongly against the idea. He did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
My dreams were shattered.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Right, we can't go to our deductions page because it seems to crash the game in Kew Gardens. Don't know why. We'll do that right at the end. I'm already ruling Albert out. I don't think he's got enough of a motive. I think Hamish and possibly her. You took a long time to solve this one, Mango.
Kew Gardens is such an exciting place. Wouldn't you agree?
I would. How did you enjoy the game? I had no idea this even existed until it was, I think it was free on Amazon. And I thought I'd give it a go. Right, should we go get, let's go get Pooch. It's your favourite. Have you played the others? Apparently there's a few now, aren't there? I don't know if they come before this one or after this one, though. I think this is the only one I've got. Chapter 1. Is that a game? Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1?
Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do. Let us go to Kew Gardens. Oh dear, Toby. I wasn't aware that you were Watson's new literary agent.
Okay, nice. Thanks for the recommendation. I will check it out. Come on, Toby. Let's go establish a scent trail. Oh, has it crashed again? I've had no problems right up until playing Kew fucking Gardens. Give me 2 seconds whilst I resolve. Do. Ba 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 ba. Oh, chapter 1's an open world. That sounds interesting. Probably a bit more difficult than this then. Because this is, everything's obviously very confined to the individual level and case that you're working on. Right.
Come on.
Let's go to Kew Gardens. Please let me go back to Kew Gardens. Let's try using...
A map of London and... A map...
Do you know, I had no idea there were so many Sherlock Holmes games. I knew of this one, and this one only. I'm just going to give it a second on this loading screen. And then... Okay, now we'll go.
Let us take Toby to the laboratory. He will pick up
Perfect.
the scent of this mysterious substance. Search, Toby. Search.
I'm searching, Holmes, I'm searching. I am the best boy. Are you coming? Wait, where's Holmes? Why is only Watson following? Where am I?
Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see what you have found.
What did you find,
This
Toby?
is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. It was buried here. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle, with gold flakes, a tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden, but at the bottom of a bottle.
Maybe it's like a tequila worm.
Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire.
Brave Toby. Okay, so can we do experiments with this now? Maybe that's the plan.
This is a tape.
Only
Or, well, I guess back at Baker Street. But before I do that, before I go on any load screens on this map, I want to do as much as possible to avoid crashing.
Just be careful with the plants during your inspection.
Okay.
Excuse me, but I have to...
Okay, does anybody want to talk to me? I would very much like a friend. Come on. Here you are,
Kew
Margaret.
Gardens is such an exciting place. Wouldn't
God.
you agree?
Damn it! That means I'm going to have to go back. Don't crash. I'll be very grumpy if you do. I do like that Toby joins you in the carriage on the loading screens, though, when you're bringing him onto a case. I like that a lot. Right, let's do
Let us
some
determine
analysis.
just what we have found here. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube to perform an analysis. This is the bottle that we found hidden at Kew Gardens. Let us use a pipette to take a sample of the liquid and fill a test tube.
Okay. I now have test tubes.
A colorless, water-based liquid. Quite a strong floral aroma.
Taste it? I don't know about that.
Holmes? What are you doing?
It has a bitter taste.
What if it's poisonous?
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there is a doctor nearby.
So what do you think it is?
It is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize the liquid and see what happens.
I mean, obviously it poisons.
Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water, with a floral smell and a bitter taste. Watson, could you pass me that small bottle, please?
Of course. Here you are. Holmes, do you know what it is?
Wagner's reagent. There was a label on the bottle that you passed to me.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any sediment, and then I shall tell you. I need to take a pipette.
Ugh. Yeah. Bloop.
Red sediment, just as I suspected. This liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and that is why there is a quantity of gold dust to prevent contamination. This mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out unusual experiments in the garden's laboratory.
Oh. It wasn't poisonous. Unusual fertilizer. That's not suspicious in the context of a garden, surely. I think we've got some things we need to look for as well. Search for June 14th, 1889. Scandal at the Divine Syndicate. The Divine Syndicate Club, followers of the God King Trowan, situated on 48 Grosvenor Street, Carlton Road, protectors of plants and more particularly trees, are currently the subject of an administrative investigation. The leaders of this organization are suspected of financial malfeasance. That word. It may be that this investigation will lead to charges of judiciary. Meanwhile, many voices have risen high against this inspection, denouncing the state. In fact, this private organization, which has given as its goal the defense and protection of nature, and which incorporates many persons of influence, including political representatives of the opposition party, ...
Here it is. And here is the Divine Syndicate's address. Perfect. It is time to find out what they have against Montague Dunn.
Okay. Also, rare plants botany. Exotic plants, volume 4, maybe? These plants have a certain toxicity in common, more or less variable. Dionea carnivorus, Carlina imbrari, Florum diabolica, Prunus serotina, Camolena odorata, Helianthorus teopuis, Biblis Darlingtonia, Cracus cephalotus. Only the first three can be dangerous to humans, particularly Florum diabolica, but only under very specific conditions. The plant should react to a process of aggression against which it will issue deadly spores.
Here it is.
Search for the symbol of the broken pot. The Divine Scholastic Syndicate for Vegetation Veneration. The members of this syndicate worship Trowan, the God King. They strive to obtain spiritual peace and release themselves from the material world. So generous donations are appreciated.
Here it is.
And search the symbol of the exhibition pot. Symbol on the flower pots found at Kew Gardens. The pots did not belong there.
That is not the one I need.
Seymour's Garden Equipment and Supplies. We are a premium supplier for all of your landscape gardening and timber requirements. Full range supply and delivery of sands, soils, mulches, pots, and anything else you may need. 3 Blurton Road, London.
Here it is.
Okay, that was quite a lot of research. I still need to find someone to talk to about that, apparently. And there's still a person that I've not met in this case. Okay, where should we go? The Divine Syndicate.
This place is beautiful, Holmes. Its atmosphere is remarkably soothing.
Let us find someone who could help us.
Okay, Oriental, very nice. A lovely Oriental garden. Let's go this way, under the tree. I got asked to use Spider-Man sensors, so... Broken
Fragments
pieces.
of a flower pot. It fell down here.
Q's roll.
The Kew Gardens symbol.
How very odd. Why would they have swapped? The answer, of course, is I don't know. But that was a lot of fun. Okay, I'm sorry, that's enough of that. That's enough of that, let's go and talk to somebody. Hello, Guru.
Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock.
I am exalting the sap. A while can you wait? From the trace of elements and moreover from the quality of the ambient geotropism it depends. Therefore, please, mind my gravitropism. Its balance, do not disturb.
Alright, Yoda.
Disturbed is most definitely the word.
There. Completed is the symbiosis. Welcomed you are. To introduce myself I shall. I am the Green Grand Mystic.
The Green Grand Mystic himself.
This is me. Who am I speaking to?
We are two gentlemen who are extremely interested in the vegetation philosophy that is advocated by this establishment.
Listening to you, I am.
That is good.
We should like to take a look around, to immerse ourselves in the wisdom that emanates from here.
It is a school of anastomosis, the divine scholastic syndicate for vegetation veneration and meditation. You may say, the divine syndicate, glory to the eukaryotic. Only true devotees,
Those whose hearts are ready to spermatophize in sharing of knowledge are permitted to physically enter our vegetable kingdom and its wisdom.
I don't want to
And to be
spermaticize
permitted,
with you.
you must earn it. Yes.
I am very, very against spermaticizing anything with you.
Green Grand Mystic, we are ready to become devotees and gain access to your temple.
What is the name of our Lord, our God King?
Oh, Trowan. What is the name of our God King? And one of the answers is Trowan the God King. Or, other answers I could choose is symbol on a broken pot. Or buried chemistry flask.
Our God King's name is Trewan, Green Grand Mystic.
Oh la, good, good, I like you. Here is the holy key to the wisdom place. Holy donation can you make whenever you so wish.
Thank you so much.
I pray you to taste our fertilizer substance. From the burdens of life it helps to free.
But of course.
Raw sap, it is called. It is near the entrance.
Do you have friends at Kew Gardens?
None. Not worthy there.
Symbol on broken pot, branded flower pots. Which one was the broken pot? It was symbol on broken pot. Oh no, it wasn't. So that's the first time I've ever got one wrong.
Friends at Kew Gardens?
None. Not worthy there.
Okay, Kew Gardens.
Nevertheless, we have seen Kew Gardens flower pots in your yard. How could they happen to be there?
What? Our sacred place you permitted yourself to search? Sacrilege.
No, really now. There was a theft of plants at Kew Gardens a matter of days ago, and we believe the pots we found here may be connected with it. Please tell us, were you involved?
No. Those plants were ours. They had stolen them from us.
How so?
Their director, Dump, I believe.
Done.
Yes, that's what I said. He borrowed from us 3 of our sisters for the exhibition at his green fly-infested gardens. But he never gave them back to us. Excuses and imbecility. So we went in and saved them.
I see. So, if you stole those rare plants from them, then it means... Ah, I get it. Bravo, Holmes. I think the case is solved.
No, we did not steal. We saved. Well, as a matter of fact, we were unable to find our 3 plants.
I beg your pardon. And yet you took all of the exotic plants from the stand.
They had disappeared. It was the least we could do. They stole our sisters, and so we stole theirs.
Okay.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation.
He practices alchemy. Right, what do we have around here? Drugs table.
That should be the raw sap that the Green Grand Mystic spoke of.
Is it cocaine?
It is rather delicious, and of an excellent quality.
My word, Holmes. Their sap is like a form of cocaine.
Oh, it literally is cocaine. Hooray!
This green grand mystic fellow seems rather suspicious, Holmes. We should search every inch of this place.
Yes. Good idea, Watson.
The list of plant friends and benefactors, lawyers, well-known manufacturers, political leaders.
Mm-hmm.
This door is locked, but I can try to open it.
Should we be doing this with the guy stood right there? I mean, it's okay, I don't mind, but... Yeah, now. That's not right. That might be. Hooray! But before we go in there, we should... Who's this guy? Wait, did we... Aha! The Green Grand Mystic is a strange character. He has a Chinese tattoo, there is a particular scar on the palm of his left hand, an injury that occurs if one uses unnecessary force with a chemical pipette. He has practiced chemistry, which requires a Cartesian mindset.
This must be Triwan, the Divine Syndicate's god.
Right, do you talk?
Praise the grand tree, praise it!
Aha. Caterpillars.
Caterpillars. They are raised as food for certain plants. Let's take them.
Okay, let's take them. Sure, Holmes, why not?
A tropical plant. Nothing of interest. A tropical plant. These 3 plants are identical to the ones shown at the exhibition. I shall take them.
Yoink.
A tropical plant. A tropical
Okay, let's go see what's through here. What's behind door number 2? It's very dark. Very opium-y.
A vast amount of opium. These instruments are used for smoking opium.
Wait, Holmes is an opium addict, isn't he? Oh god, Holmes, get out of here.
This substance is an alkaloid, the same as in the bottle we found in the bushes at Kew Gardens. This cabinet is full of chemicals. They are the same as the ones we found in the laboratory at Kew Gardens. That would be enough to perform the most difficult of chemical experiments.
Have we established everything we need to in this place, though? I think that's probably the question, isn't it? Find out, blah, blah, blah. Okay, right. Let's go talk to this fellow. See if he still wants to talk to us.
Follow my path, and better you will fear.
He doesn't. So let's go to Baker Street first and see if we can start doing some of these deductions. Because it feels like it's the Kew Garden map itself which keeps crashing us out. We've not had a problem anywhere else. So, here we go. Right, White Studies. Whites. And Deadly Plants. No, no. Okay, that didn't mean anything apparently. So this is Hamish's motive. Martin Hamish had a motive. He believed that he and his father's lives had been ruined by Dunn, who had taken the credit for all of their work. Hamish wished to take over the directorship of Kew Gardens, but he knew that that would not be possible with Dunn still alive. That's true. Albert's motive. Albert had a motive to kill his father, Montague Dunn. Dunn had thwarted Albert's dream of joining the Royal Navy. By killing his father, Albert could have his revenge and eventually succeed in his father's place as director of Kew Gardens. I don't think... Nah. I just don't believe that. White and Dunn. Miss White and Mr. Dunn had a recent disagreement. Montague Dunn was planning to release Miss White from her position at Kew Gardens. White's situation. Margaret White's studies and social situation were completely dependent upon Montague Dunn's wealth. We've got Sex stole everything. The Divine Syndicate stole all plants from the exhibition, including the deadly species. They could have used them in order to murder Montague Dunn. Partial theft. The Divine Syndicate stole all but the deadly plants from the exhibition. I think the deadly plants are the ones that they said they couldn't find, right? Let's go with that for now. That might change though, when we learn some other things. Set up the experiments. Set up the alkaloid from a chemical laboratory and the caterpillars and perform the experiment with the deadly plants. Okay. Theft and murder. The killers may be those who stole the exotic plants, including the deadly species, from the last exhibition at Kew Gardens. And it leaves us with 3, none of which I can do anything with anymore. Right.
Perfect, Watson. We can begin our experiment.
That's good. Watson, what are you doing? Why are you now a Tai Jutsu master?
This green, grand, mystic fellow seems rather suspicious, Holmes. What should we do next, Holmes?
Why are you dancing like that? Or... I don't know.
I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I need to find out exactly how it could be done. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask.
Right, let's start with Diabolica.
It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid. It closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is opened, it will reveal a little more.
So open it.
It appears to open up. It closed again. I wonder.
Ah, pin. Okay.
It appears to open after.
Hiya!
It closed again. I wonder what secrets. No reaction. My word! It shot a spike at me after I stabbed it with a pin. I imagined that its reaction would be ferocious if I increased the strength of my attack. It appears to have fallen inactive after being disturbed.
Okay.
A prickly plant. This is a strange and unusual plant. A carnivorous plant. This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. It appears to... This plant... My word! It... I find the behavior of predators utterly fascinating. This plant seems to have had no reaction from the caterpillars. This plant...
Okay, so we can rule that one out. It's not that one. What else do I have besides pins, alkaloids, and... Like, why can't I put it on this side?
It closed again. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it.
Whilst opened. Okay. How open does it need to be? Can we like...
It appears
Can I like continue to open it, maybe?
no...
Oh, I know. What if we swap you with you, and then swap you with you? And then put you on here
This
like...
plant seems to have had no... This plant...
Aha.
Toxic gas with spores. Extraordinary.
That was completely accidental, but
The
hooray.
plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the right moment.
Let us take our caterpillars to the Colonial Collection Room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kew Gardens one more time and ask some questions.
Okay. I shall do so. Apparently we have new... Albert is not very good at botany. It's doubtful that he could have learned how the plants might release their deadly spores. Albert had the biological knowledge to stimulate... No, he didn't. Not a chance. White studies deadly precision. White's lack of experience, the knowledge Miss White acquired at the university might not be enough to guarantee the correct reaction of the deadly plants. Miss White had the biological knowledge to stimulate... Yeah, she did. Any more? Sex scheme. The Divine Syndicate left the plants at Kew Gardens in order to murder Montague Dunn at a later date. Someone stole the deadly plants before the Divine Syndicate were able to. Yeah, they were quite open about the fact they stole some plants, but they weren't there. And I don't think they even knew. Oh, we have a thing already. White killed Dunn. But we're not... We still have more investigating to do. We still have more investigating to do. To Kew Gardens. Oh, you son of a bitch. It is. It's whenever I go into Kew Gardens itself that it decides it wants to royally fuck up. I think is the only way to describe it. Task manager. Close the game. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-bum. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-bum. Yeah, it's really not a happy bunny at Kew Gardens. I don't know why. Hopefully this loads me in Kew Gardens, though. Bugger. Maybe if we, thinking about it, what if we go to... There are no graphics settings. I thought maybe we could like lower the graphic settings and see if that just let it load. Come on, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Okay, that is a positive. Give it a few seconds. Give it a few seconds to load in the background. Okay. Ah, thank goodness.
Can you tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly, I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
The day of Dunn's death.
Your father's death does seem highly suspicious. What were your movements here on that day?
Suspicious. Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of something, or Lear Pontus, or... No, wait. Ah, these Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily room, and I found my father lying dead on the floor. Oh, my God.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
It's like, oh my god, I found my father dead. Oh my god, oh my god. He's like, thank you, young man. What have we actually got to do? Find out how to stimulate the deadly plants in the colonial collection. Talk to all suspects, okay. I completely went the wrong way. She's up here, isn't she?
Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn heading towards me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert and Mr. Hamish from the large glass house.
I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
Thank you, miss.
Some
Everyone
time
has gone,
later.
Holmes. The way is clear.
Well, hang on, Watson. I want to go and listen to that tape. Is it night time? Why is everyone gone when it's still daytime? Number 320. It is neither of those. Oh, there's fuck tons here. 320. That was definitely not open before.
Cylinder records.
These plants, classified as shrubs or grasses, have adapted to their arid environment due to a system of underground roots.
This recording seems very long. It is unnecessary to listen to all of it. Miss White was in the laboratory, as she told us.
Okay. Right, let's use our powers of imagination to solve this murder. So, he inhaled the spores and knocked something over. Then he escaped the room. Am I missing something?
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spores to activate. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over the bust. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open with his shoulder. We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed and died not far from the pool. Well, it is time to perform our experiment on the ventilation system.
Okay.
The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
So is the plan that I watch or like see where that goes, I guess. So I think it was that one, right? Yeah, there it is. So it goes through there. We have to go into the other room. It comes across and into this wall here. And then over to here. And here. And nowhere else. Okay, so it's what we said right at the start then. Hamish's desk has a view of the... That doesn't necessarily mean Hamish did it though.
Before starting the engine, the power is on. The engine cannot be started. The engine has started. The ventilation system is working.
Okay. Now let's open this window.
Here, we are unable to...
So if that's true, we know that the window over here
We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room.
we can. And if I pull this,
This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the...
oh. Okay, yes we can, Holmes, if that's, whoops. Oh no, wait. Whoops.
Perfect.
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out, by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room.
Right. Does that mean we're done here? Because if we are, I need to go back to Baker Street so that I can conduct my deductions without the game crashing. Right, let's see. Ventilation, deadly precision. Which leads to Hamish's opportunity. Martin Hamish had the opportunity to stimulate the deadly plants in the Colonial Collection Room. As a biologist, he would have understood the technicality of how to do this. So that leads to Hamish is guilty. Martin Hamish could be the killer. He had the opportunity to steal the Divine Syndicate's plants and stimulate them from his workplace directly after he had locked Montague Dunn inside the Colonial Collection Room. I think that is likely. Arrest Martin Hamish. Affect the arrest of Martin Hamish. Ha. Huh?
Let's go to Scotland Yard.
Isn't that normally the big deduction? I'm confused. But I do think it's most likely Hamish.
I must admit, it would be rather unusual to use a poisonous plant as a...
As a murder weapon? A murder weapon, Holmes? Lestrade, I would like you to arrest a man.
Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha! I knew it. I'll send the lads around to arrest him.
Very good. I shall wait to hear from you.
Some time later. Are we going to the gardens, for fuck's sake? If this crashes now. Oh, give it a few seconds. Give it a few seconds.
Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
Okay.
Martin Hamish...
What should we do next, Holmes?
I'll be honest.
Mr. Holmes?
I'll be honest, I kind of thought we were done, Watson. I don't know.
Holmes, my God!
Yes. We found him like that.
Oh.
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please? I should like to examine it.
I am so bewildered by this case. What is it going to throw at me next? Life has become a living hell. I find it unbearable. Dunn deserved to die, but I cannot forgive myself for having his blood upon my hands. We Hamishes seem to have always fallen victim to our circumstance, and I find myself to be no exception. I must atone, and I shall do so here and now. Farewell.
The mark around the neck is very visible. He died instantly.
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the key element of this case.
Holmes, don't look at me.
What should we do?
I don't know. Right. I'm going to have to go back to Baker Street so that the game doesn't crash. To do my final deduct. Oh, you son of a bitch. You son of a kerfuffle. You son of a quaddleflop. Right, try again. Why is this Kew Gardens map such a nightmare? Right, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Alright, let's... Clubfoot, Hamish's confession leads us to Hamish acted alone. Martin Hamish was unable to run due to the tibial torsion on his club foot. Therefore, we should find out if he had sufficient time to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room and activate the ventilation system. Did he have an accomplice? Talk to Lestrade. Discuss with Lestrade the possible impact of new clues found on the body of Martin Hamish.
Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
I have another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
The map at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Let us analyze the facts and statements so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
Okay. Martin Hamish and Montague Dunn went to meet Albert in the Seed House at around 9:30. So, Hamish, Dunn, and Albert. At 9:30. It was around 20 minutes to 10 when Hamish and Montague Dunn went out to the backyard. After 10 minutes, Dunn recommenced his inspection and entered the dry tropics. Hamish returned to the Seed House. Martin Hamish had a conversation with Miss White at 10 o'clock. Miss White was in the laboratory until 10:40, when she saw Hamish and Albert in the water lily greenhouse and joined them. So that was 10:40. Hamish ran to Albert as soon as he observed that Montague Dunn was unwell, which was at around 10:30. Albert was in the Seed House the entire morning. He observed Hamish returning from visiting Miss White. At 10 minutes past 10, Martin Hamish returns after talking to Miss White. He observed Hamish returning from visiting Miss White at 10 minutes past 10.
let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked him inside there at 10:20. Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door. More than enough time. Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
It was Miss White. White had 20 minutes. It would have been enough to trap Montague Dunn. She could have locked the door and alerted Martin Hamish to activate the ventilation. Martin Hamish and Miss White were not accomplices. It's unlikely that White would have had the opportunity, and 20 minutes would not have been enough to lock the door. Well, it would have been, we know that. But we also have Albert and Hamish. So we've got Martin, Hamish and Albert are not accomplices. It's unlikely that Albert would have had the opportunity, and 10 minutes would not have been enough time to lock the door. Albert was Martin Hamish's accomplice. 10 minutes would have been enough to follow Montague Dunn and lock the door. No, I don't think so. That leads to White is an accomplice. Margaret White was Martin Hamish's accomplice in killing Montague Dunn. Her professional ambition and personal situation had been damaged by the breakup with Dunn. Miss White is a dangerous woman, very capable of carrying out an elaborate murder for monetary gain. She flirted with Dunn's son, Albert, and later pushed Martin Hamish to his suicide. She deserves the rope. Miss White is a desperate woman in debt, resigned to consorting with wealthy gentlemen. When Dunn cast her aside, she killed him in desperation. Hamish tried to save her. She deserves a second chance. No, God, no. We're going back to Kew Gardens. It's gonna crash on me, isn't it? Let's just give it a second.
But Holmes, how can you be certain that we'll find Miss White here?
It is obvious, Watson. Just use your brain.
I am using it. I do use it.
Now that the rope has tightened around Martin Hamish, Miss White must act to erase all traces of her implication. After the suicide of her accomplice, there is one final trace remaining: the deadly plants of the Divine Syndicate. She will be there.
Very good. Shall we go?
Just one moment. Now listen to me, Watson. I shall see her alone. You will conceal yourself behind her, quietly.
Whatever are you planning?
Nothing spectacular. The impulses of women have always been a mystery to me. But she is a bold one, and so we must be cautious.
All right. You can count on me, Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, good day to you.
You do not seem surprised, Miss White.
Well, I was expecting you.
Not for too long, I believe. So please tell me, as it is still unclear, who planned the murder? Was it you?
You were wrong, Mr. Holmes.
It was Martin Hamish, then. You managed to convince him to take on a more prominent role.
You could not be further from the truth.
You think that you can fool me?
You don't care what I think.
It is difficult to care about someone who is capable of pushing a man to his suicide. It is over, Miss White. The police will be here any minute.
Over, perhaps. One moment you were here, and the next, you were on the other side.
The other side? No! Stop! I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Judo chop.
Well done, Watson. She was not faking.
Miss White, you have no right to take your own life.
Dr. Watson? Did you just save me? Or worse?
The Kew Gardens drama. Miss White is a dangerous woman, very capable of carrying out an elaborate murder. When she realized that she was unable to make any further monetary gain from Montague Dunn, she advanced her affections to Albert, his son. She was the one who locked the door of the Colonial Collection Room directly after Hamish released the caterpillars, and then pushed Martin Hamish to his suicide, only to cover herself. She got what she deserved. Clues found, 22. Why is an accomplice? Condemn Miss White. Were we right? Yeah, boy! We're 5 for 5 so far. I'm now impartial. A half-moon walk.
Where are you going, Holmes? Have you been invited somewhere?
We have been invited, Watson.
We have. Where to?
To the Baker Street Irregulars' annual dinner. They sent us an invitation. It is on the table.
A dinner? How could those street urchins afford anything like that? I can't understand your interest in them, Holmes. They're dirty. They wouldn't hesitate to steal your wallet.
Watson, you should be excited. It is a secret dinner. Its location changes every year. Read the menu. Sounds mouth-watering.
All right. We, the secret police of Baker Street, invite you, Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson to our annual dinner. Menu, entree, frozen rat head salad. Is this a joke?
Not at all. Pray continue.
Main course, sow's udder in Danny Nutcracker's way. Sounds disgusting, Holmes. Hedgehog goulash. Street turnips in homemade juice. And it goes on.
I can hear them on the stairs now.
Oh, we can't go there. We can't eat that.
Watson, you'll hurt the feelings of those poor children. We have to go.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
It is fine, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Holmes!
Wiggins, Dr. Watson is getting ready. He will be delighted to join us. You don't look well, my young man. Is there something wrong? Don't tell me the dinner is cancelled.
Mr. Holmes is my brother Leighton. He's in a prison cell. They say he's killed 2 men. You have to help us, Mr. Holmes, because I know he didn't do it.
Where is he now?
From what I've heard, they took him to the yard, and they gave him a good beating already. You know what they're like. They'll hang him. They won't look any further.
Holmes, we have to help him.
And forget about the dinner? Wiggins, I'll take the case.
You're fantastic, Mr. Holmes. I'll be waiting for you at the crime scene. You'll be there, right? It's on Half Moon Street in Whitechapel.
Very well.
Very well. Right. That gave us this. We got that. Did I get another trophy? I did. I got to kill a plant. Hooray. That's nice. That, however, is going to conclude tonight's episode of Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishment. We are now on case number 6, which we will be probably completing tomorrow morning. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. Please enjoy your Friday night, and I will catch you next time. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.